Sorry, that was an interruption because you know about the devil when there is something that God is doing. That is when He said people with their cravings. I will tell you, the Lord is angry, not just because of the nations, because of the people He has raised up in our country, Kenya. Because of the gospel, because now God is rising people who have the message of the nations to take to the nations. But nobody is ready to take the message to the nations. Everybody's after how many people are listening to me? How many subscribers do I have? How many people do I have in my church? Do I have to expand my church so that people will be inside? Preach the gospel. I will go, and I'll just read this, the whole thing, so that you listen with your ears. So that you go and read the whole thing, because God did not tell me to read and skip some. I'm on 21. But the generation also. Why did God use also? Because there is, if you see from the first verse of 20 to 20, it's speaking about the servants of God. Because sometimes you may ask, or maybe some minutes you may ask, why is she too much on the servants of God? Yes, I'm on servants of God because that is what God told me. And that is what the Bible is speaking about. 2020, from verse 1 to 20, speaking about the servant of God. Now 21 is saying, but that generation also defied me. They broke my law, did not keep my command, which bring life to anyone who obeys them. They profaned the Sabbath, they copied what was done, because most of the time we copy what our ancestors are doing. We copy what, who was or is doing. What do I mean? Who is on? Who is, I want to do like my pastor. If they come wearing tight jeans on Sunday, it's all right, because when my pastor sin, I can sin also. Because she is a servant of God. When they eat on Sabbath, I also eat. I don't want to respect this day and give it to God, because they eat. Now we are not following the Bible. We are not following God. We are following our ancestors. Most of the times I'm not on our ancestors like my father, like my grandfather. Most of the times I check my ancestors in the church. Who gave you your anointing? Most of the time we get the anointing from so and so. She was doing this, so I will do it. I will not demolish anything she did, because she was the servant of God. And she have been asking for money. So because I don't want to defile her platform, what I'll do as her. Let me tell you, if the servant of God which you fall, she tell you about money, or he tell you about money, and he tell you cannot be anointed because you don't give the money in the church, let me tell you what will happen. There will be a generation out of you. There will be money, greed and craving of money, which you will not demolish, which will bring people, and the hell will gravitate to you, because it will just come and start snatching people in the church and swallowing them to hell before they know the truth. The anointing that will be flowing in the church will not be anointing of favor and grace from God. That is the anointing of the favor of the pastor, because you give them too much money. And what comes from money, it ends when the money ends. But what comes from the favor of God, it's overflowing. Because when you feel like you are empty, you just kneel down and cry to who anointed you, and he take you to the overflow again. But if your pastor will anoint you because of craving for anointing through your money, when your pastor die, your anointing will die too, because you don't have anointing. What you have is a favor from a man because of something you give to them. But what I have is a favor from God. From nothing I give to him. He just chose me. That is why when I feel like I'm down, I still push. When I still like the pain and the contraction of this baby is too much on me to push, I'm still pushing. That is when I'm criticized. That is when I'm powerful, when I post many videos, because the favor of whom called me told me, do not stop, be unstoppable. This is what is happening to the churches. Money. If you don't stand by my ministry, I don't need you in the church. Money. Money. There is a word in the book of Revelation against you. Great harlots in the churches, the servants of God. Most of the time we want to see a great harlot being raised up from Babylon. Which Babylon? Are you waiting God to raise something from the country of Babylon? Actually, Saudi Arabia is Babylon. So you're expecting something to come out of this country, and the book of Revelation will be like, oh, it come to pass. No, it's you. They profaned the Sabbath. I was led to let them feel the force of my anger there in the desert and kill them. But I did not think that would have brought dishonor to my name. God made those who are old to die, so that the younger generation will listen to him, but still they disrespect him. I'm going to tell you, if you are a gospel singer, if you have been there for a very long time, you have made yourself rich and you have not changed the world, God is coming to you, and even the servants of God coming to you. He's coming to finish you so that he can allow a new generation whom he wants to anoint, so that they follow him in the true righteousness. And that is why God is calling children. And when he calls children, we defile them. You take them in your hand and you start laying your hand. Stop laying your hand unto them. You didn't lay there. Come on. Nobody put their hands on Jeremiah. Who put their hands on Jesus Christ when he was born? Oh, I allowed you to be the servant of God. No. When God called a child, stop putting your filthy hand on them. Watch them as they grow. Even Jesus himself, when his mother and father tried to follow him and search for him, he told them, don't you know I'm in the church of God? It was 12 years. He shoved them off and told them, stop following me aloud. I know what I'm doing. The one who called me, my father, he knows where I'm supposed to be. Stop putting your filthy hand on those children. Because God has already disowned you. He has vomited you out of his stomach. And now the small children in the church, you are dividing them and teaching them how to follow people and asking them for money. When they grow up with pride. And may God protect those children God has anointed and hide them from these wolves whom call themselves servants of God. Because like Sam, I remember I was followed by 5 servants of God to finish me, because I was called in the nation for the nation when I was 11. But nobody was there to tell me what it happened and how it go. And I started understanding the voice of God from the day I was 11. And I have never found a favor in any servant of God. Myself, I'm talking about me. As a matter of fact, the servant of God whom I thought God has anointed and will give me favor and put her hands on my head, still God snatched me from her hands. Not because she's bad, but because God did not want me to have favor on her side, so that God can deal with me himself. So what I have, I didn't get it from somebody, Pastor so and so. God did it himself. And when I sinned against God, he punished me myself. Don't think I'm not punished. Sometimes I get sick. Sometimes I get punished by God. Because when he starts you, he deals with you. He is the author of you. He's the finisher of you. So when he deals with you, don't ask him questions. So I made another promise in the desert. I vowed that I would scatter them all over the world. I did this because they didn't reject my command, broken my law, profaned the Sabbath, and worshipped the same idol their ancestor had served. The same thing your pastor is doing is the same thing you are doing, and that is why the world is dirty. That is why our country, Kenya, is not okay, because everybody is singing the sing of their pastor. Nobody is following the Bible to have deeper revelation from God. We want to have what our pastor have. Then I give them law that are not good, and command that do not bring life. Yeah, God will give you what you are craving for, because when your craving is high, that is when God him also, he made you a craving little. He will not come here to tell you don't do that, don't do this. Go ahead and do it. Let them defile themselves with their own offering, and let them sacrifice their first sons. This was to punish them and show them that I am the Lord. Now then, mortal man, tell the Israel what I say me. The sovereign Lord am saying to them. This is another way their ancestor insulted me by their unfaithfulness. I brought them to the land I have promised to them. When they saw the high hills and green tea, when you saw the pulpit and the money, green trees, money, the tree is green, now the fruits are ready to start. You get me now? This is the ancestor, because I told you I'm spiritual. I don't go to my ancestor, my mother. I deal with the ancestors in the church. They offered sacrifices at all of them. They start worshiping the rich people in the church so that they cannot leave the church. You get it now. They made me angry by the sacrifice they burnt and by the wines they brought as offering. I asked them what are these high praises? High praises where you go. I asked them, what are these high praises where you go? So they have called them, so they have been called high praises. Ever since, now tell the Israel what I, the sovereign, I don't know whether I pronounce well, Lord, I'm saying, why must you commit the same sins your ancestor did and go running after their idols? Nation, why must you do what the church, the pastors are telling you to do? Why are you too much in the churches and copying your pastors when the Lord is telling you to bring yourself to the altar and know the will of God upon your life? Even today you offer the same gifts and defile yourself with the same idol by sacrificing your children to them in the fire, and then you still come to me ask what my will is? As surely as I, sovereign Lord, I am the living God, I will not let you ask me anything. You have made up your mind that you want to be like